I was talking to a friend of mine who's a large broker out here in Southern California, and I saw him at the gym today. And he came up to me today, and he said, "Hey, I need to talk to you. I need to do some training." And he said that in his development, he lives in Rancho Mirage. In his development, recently, 3 homes have been broken into, and they've been broken into professionally. Now, he lives in an area of homes where the homes are about $1.5 million, and probably shouldn't be $1.5 million, but they are $1.5 million. But they've had 3 break-ins there, and what they're doing is they're cutting the glass in the back of the house, cutting the glass and breaking in that way. So they're not breaking glass, they're not coming in through an open door, an open window. They're actually cutting through the glass, however they're doing that, and getting into the homes. And so he's nervous, and he's asked to come out and do some training, and I said, no problem. But this is an individual, nice guy, but he's been talking about training for 2 years, and he's never done anything. And now what is happening is it's starting to hit home. Now it's happening in his neighborhood, and it's getting very, very close to his house. And so now he's worried. But my question is, why were you not preparing 2 years ago? And this goes to everybody out there. Why were you not getting the food, the water, the metals, the training, getting in better shape? And look, this is a nice guy, and I'm not throwing him under the bus here, but it's amazing that when something hits home, when it starts getting very, very close, now all of a sudden you want to prepare. And this is what I'm trying for everybody to avoid. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till it's you. Don't wait till it's happening in your area. This is the time right now. It's been the time over the last 2 to 3 years to be preparing for all this stuff. And this guy has waited so long. And so, he's going to wait until somebody actually, breaks into his house when he's home. And, we don't want to see anything like that happen. So, this is the time to take action, ladies and gentlemen. And I wanted to bring that up because so many people just keep talking. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I need to do it. And they know they need to do it. And they procrastinate and put it off until it's too late. So don't be that person. It's Monday, November 7th, 2022. Markets just closed a little while ago. Let's recap what happened today. Dow Jones finished up 423 points. NASDAQ up about 90 points. And the 10-year bond yield right now, as I make this video, sitting at 4.216%. So we're watching bond yields creep up. The 2-year getting way up there again. I don't know why the markets were up today, because we're getting more bad news, more negative news, bad data, and it does not look good. The only thing I can relate this to is maybe the midterm elections tomorrow. Maybe the markets are looking for some good news coming, and maybe that will happen tomorrow. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Comment down below. Why were the markets up today? Based on what news? I didn't see any great news out there. The only thing I can attest is that possibly it is the midterm elections tomorrow, and maybe it is expecting some good news. But when the midterms are over, will the fake impression that everything is okay, will that disappear? Because, every day I turn on the television, I listen to the news, I read a lot of articles, and you're told that everything is okay, it's going to be okay, that everything's going to recover, we're going to go back to normal. And there's always some type of good news out there, but it's very fake. And we've been told for a very, very long time that everything is okay. After tomorrow, are we going to start to be told that things aren't okay? And I have a feeling that that's what is going to happen. And we'll see how long this rally on Wall Street lasts after tomorrow. It'll be very, very interesting. But getting into some of the news today, this one coming from The Hedge. The slightest positive news is an excuse to buy. That's the title of this article on The Hedge. And it makes a lot of sense of what I was just saying. last week when Jerome Powell came out and said we were going to have a, maybe they'll slow it down next month, December. And now everybody's expecting that we'll have a 50 basis point rate hike in December instead of 75. And, the markets like that. They went up as soon as he said that. Now, of course, he got very hawkish after that and they crashed. But these markets continue to look for any kind of good news, whether it's how many basis points the Fed is going to raise or not raise, friendly headlines in the news. Now we have the midterms. Is this going to be good news? I don't really know, but I do believe that we're going to get a lot less good news after tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But all of a sudden, watch out what happens after tomorrow with these markets. I do believe that they're keeping these markets glued together until after midterms. We shall see. Here's another one from the hedge. Used car prices collapsed the most since Lehman meltdown. Average financing right now on a new car, on a new car, 6.27%. Average financing on a used car, 10.33%. Used car prices are collapsing. It says the retail market is about to get crushed. No doubt about it. Yesterday, we were driving by some of the car lots. They are picking up so much used car inventory. It's not even funny. There's going to be so many new buyers underwater on their vehicle loans because prices are going to come down. They're going to get flooded with vehicles. Prices will come down. And the people that bought these cars in the last year or two, the values are going to plummet, just like we're going to see in real estate. And we talked weeks ago, a month ago, about the repo market. 15,000 plus cars a day in the United States are being repossessed right now. And so what are they going to do with those cars? They're going to the auctions. Then they're going to go to the lots and prices are going to come down. And somebody that bought that used Dodge Charger last year or in 2020, 2021, they are going to lose their shirt because prices are about to plummet. And again, we're going to see this in real estate. Remember, the auto market is 6 to 12 months ahead of the housing market. So this is just a barometer of what is coming. Here's one from CNBC. Consumer confidence in housing market hits a new low according to Fannie Mae. In October, just 16% of consumers said that they thought now is a good time to buy a home, according to a monthly survey by Fannie Mae. Now, I like to talk to these people, the 16% who think that now is a good time to buy. Who in their right mind would think that right now, the biggest bubble in human history in the housing market, this is a good time to buy? I have no idea. 37% in the survey expect home prices to drop, not slow down, drop in the next 12 months. I was just going over some numbers last week, and this is startling when you look at what's happening in the housing market. You take a 30-year fixed mortgage, 20% down. If you have a 680 to a 699 FICO, you're looking at 7.891%. If you have a 640 to a 659 FICO, you're looking at, with 20% down, 8.37%. Right now, today, compared to last year, it will cost you 40% more to finance that house today than it did a year ago. How in the world is this housing market sustainable? What is going to happen to the home builders? What is going to happen to the investor? This is going to get really, really bad. I don't think anybody really realizes how bad it can get and how bad it is about to get. If you're going to buy a house right now, the only way you do it is by offering 20 to 25% less than the listing price. Otherwise, you walk away because it's all coming down. And if the seller knows what's going on, if the seller's motivated, if they're smart, they're going to take it. If not, let them sit. Let them sit. And next year, maybe they'll get 30% off, 40% off. Who knows what is going to happen next year, but we know right now from what we're seeing, the trend right now with interest rates, mortgage rates, inflation, qualified buyers, the labor market, we're going to see a lot of people laid off, and this is going to have a catastrophic effect on housing. And and we're already seeing what's happening in the auto industry. People are just, they're losing their cars, they're giving the keys back, they're getting the cars repossessed, they can't afford it. If you can't afford your car, you can't afford your house. And if you don't have a car, you can't get to work. So this whole thing is going to be a mess, and it's just going to get worse. This whole thing is now beginning to snowball out of control. Yes, but another article from the Wall Street Journal, more workers get side hustles to keep up with rising cost. And all this just really validates what you and I have been talking about. How in the world are they going to sustain this fake housing market, one that's been built up with all the easy money, the 2.65, 2.75% 30-year mortgages? How are they going to sustain this? You know, you had a Fed buying mortgage-backed securities and a housing boom. You left interest rates at nearly zero. And so you had all this cheap money out there, and then institutional investors got all this cheap money, and they went into the housing market. So the average person buying a home had to compete against institutional money, and this caused an even bigger bubble. So you see where we're going with this. How is this all sustainable? How is it not going to come down? How will it not be worse than 2008? People with professional jobs are falling behind, and now they're taking on side hustles. Project managers are now unloading trucks on the weekend, according to this article. Associate recruiters at consulting firms are working at Home Depot in the evenings. This is what's happening. It's not just blue collar people. It's not just people that make minimum wage or earn low wages. No, it's happening to everybody. Blue collar, happening to these professional type workers. It's happening across the board. Inflation is affecting everybody, and everybody now is feeling the pain in this economy. And there's going to be a lot of wealthy people that I believe are going to really get hurt here too. You know, think about if you're a wealthy individual, well, maybe you own 5 car washes, maybe you own 5 steakhouses. If you have to start closing some of those because the average person can't go to your steakhouse or your restaurant or your car wash, you got to start closing down some of the car washes, some of the restaurants, and that affects you. Now, you know, maybe instead of making $1 million a year, you're making $600,000 a year, but you have a lot of overhead. Maybe you start making $400,000 or $500,000 a year from $1 million. It's going to affect people that make big money too. It may not affect the very, very top of the pyramid, the top, 1% or 0.0001%. Won't affect them, but it's going to affect a lot of wealthy people. And not everybody that's wealthy is sitting at the top of the pyramid. Are you ready for the coming U.S. government default? I would say most people are not, but we have to remember. And we have to take into account the huge consequences that are coming to workers, to savers, and to retirees. The Fed pumped in over $6 trillion over a 2.5-year period into this economy, into the markets during this health crisis to keep the gravy train flowing to its private member banks. So again, the people at the very, very top of the pyramid got very, very wealthy. And you can bet they're going to take full advantage of this depression. They are going to continue to buy assets. The U.S. national debt has now topped $31.2 trillion. You tack on households, businesses, state and local government debt, financial institutions, that's nearly $93 trillion right there. You tack on unfunded liabilities like Medicare and Medicaid, that's $170 trillion right there. How in the world are we ever going to get out of this mess without things crashing? I don't know. But there's this myth that things cannot crash because, well, you see, it's America. And it's never happened before, so it can never happen in the future. It can never happen tomorrow because it never happened yesterday. That is really, to me, ignorant thinking right there. And to think that because something's never happened, meaning that it can't happen, that's ignorant right there. We may have never defaulted. Maybe technically in the past, people could argue Bretton Woods. They could argue 1933 when they made gold illegal, that those were technical defaults. We won't get into that right now. But a lot of people just believe nothing bad can happen because nothing bad has happened. Most of these people that say this never lived through the Great Depression, probably never talked to anybody that did live through the Great Depression. But what is happening right now, what is forming right now, could quite possibly be much worse than the Great Depression many, many years ago. But this country and this currency here, we could see a default. And a lot of people, again, don't realize that, don't want to think about that, have no understanding of it. If you look at history throughout the world, global history, and how many times it has happened and how close we are to it happening right here, right now, to think that we are the most bankrupt country on planet Earth and to think that we can't default on our debt, again, that is absolutely ignorant thinking. Now you have to think, what if it happened? What would happen to you? Well, your standard of living would plunge. Anything you're holding in dollars, stocks, bonds, cash, it's all gone. It's zero. This is why I'm so adamant about making sure that your debt is paid off, making sure that you get your car paid off immediately, get your house paid off, make sure that you have physical gold, physical silver, not stocks, not mining stocks, but actual physical gold, physical silver that you hold somewhere safe, not in a safe deposit box, not in somebody's bank, that you hold somewhere safe. Because we are now looking at the potential of a default here in America. And just because people say it can't happen because it never did happen, that is idiotic to think like that. That is naive. You need to prepare for the worst case scenario. I pray to God it never happens. I hope it never does. I pray that it never does. But I am a realist just like you. We are looking at history, not just rhyming, but repeating. We are watching what caused nations like Zimbabwe, Venezuela, and many, many others see hyperinflation because they overprinted currency. And it's happened time and time again throughout history. And people will say, well, the dollar's strong. No, the dollar index is strong because we're just comparing the dollar to sicker puppies in the litter. Your dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power in the last 50 years. Do you really want to bet that the dollar's going to be here 50 years from now, even 10 years from now? Look at what is happening in the BRICS nations right now. They are doing everything in their power now to have a new currency in the future. Probably backed by gold. It's not going to be the dollar. The dollar is going to come under extreme pressure. And even if the dollar did exist, if you start seeing serious competition by another currency or other currencies, the dollar no longer has the power or the manipulation that it once did. When America can no longer weaponize the dollar, it can no longer control the world. And when that happens, America is going to be on the cusp of being a third world nation. That is why you better be ready. You better have physical gold. You better have physical silver. And like my friend today, who is completely unprepared, and this is not an insult. This is not a judgment. But don't be this person. You need to be preparing right now. You need to be preparing last year and the year before. Now things are happening in his beautiful $1 million neighborhood, and he's getting nervous. And now he wants to take action. Don't wait till you're that person. Don't wait till bad things begin to happen in your neighborhood, or don't wait till something happens at your house. Be ahead of it. Make sure that you have your security in order. Make sure that you have the correct tools and training. I cannot emphasize that enough. Forget about the gold, the silver, the flashlights, the batteries, all that stuff. That doesn't matter. You know what? He even has cameras at his house, and the people who got robbed had cameras. That's nice. They were able to identify people with hoodies on and masks on their face. So that's it. It did not prevent anything from happening. And thank God none of those people were home when those people broke in. So, but sooner or later, they're going to break into a home with a family in it, and hopefully nobody gets hurt. It's going to be a terrible situation for a family to live through. It'll be something that gives a family PTSD for the rest of their lives. Don't be that family. Don't be that person. Get your house in order. Get your security in order. Get all the training you can right now. Make sure you have the correct tools and training. I cannot emphasize that enough. Look who, Gigi, our little guard dog here, right here. Yeah, right there. As I said in some of my past videos, when I move to my farm, I'm definitely probably going to purchase a KMPV police dog or an American Bulldog, a big hog dog, which I have owned in the past. But we know that big dogs deter bad people. Even little dogs do. But have a big dog. If you have a large property, if you have a farm, if you have the room, a big dog is a necessity. Better than any alarm system. And it's just an incredible resource to have, an incredible asset to have. And if you want to deter bad people from coming to your house, have a big dog at your house. And again, even a small dog will alert you when somebody is around. But so many things happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting scary out there. It really, really is. But it's why I go out. That's why I train. That's why I work on my security weekly. Now that the weather's great, we're getting out once a week. And I can promise you that if bad people came to my house to do bad things, it's not going to end up well for them. It really isn't. We have some video. I put it on my Facebook last night. Went out, did some training yesterday. If you want to go to my Facebook page, check it out. Just went out and did some really good training. And I think it's just imperative that you do the same. Again, if bad people want to come to my house, they're going to make a very, very bad mistake, and it's probably going to not end well for them. In fact, it's not going to end well for them because I already know what I'm going to do. And that's not a threat. That's just a promise, and that's just a guarantee. I sleep very, very good at night. I'm very well trained. I'm getting my body, my mind, my finances, and my security all in order to the best of its ability. So I sleep very, very well at night, and I've got all my debt paid off. I've worked very hard to do that, and I've used a lot of control not to overspend on things, not to buy things I don't need. And this has allowed me to sleep good at night. It's allowed me to prepare for what's coming, and it's going to allow me to take advantage of the discounts that are coming. And you should all do the same thing. And I know many of you are doing it. Many of you are way more prepared than I am. And reading the comments, I commend all of you who have been preparing. And if you're not prepared, guess what? You can start today, right now, and you can start preparing right now. Just doing a little bit is going to help you a lot when these things begin to fall apart. A little preparation will go a long way, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of preparation is going to go a lot farther. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless you all. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. Share my videos all over the place. Share these videos everywhere, and make sure you subscribe. God bless.